Kyiv has been pleading for more weapons to halt Russia's advance across the east, and Joe Biden has now confirmed the U.S. is sending a new medium-range rocket system to Ukraine. But in an essay for the New York Times, the U.S. president insisted the weapons would not be used to hit targets deep inside Russian territory. Well, to get more reaction from Moscow to all of this, let's bring in journalist Daniel Hawkins. Daniel, Russia has already reacted, quote, extremely negatively to this new U.S. aid package. What more can you tell us?
Well, this may not be a complete game changer, but it certainly marks a major policy shift in terms of US aid to Ukraine. And from the very start of the war, Kyiv was asking for military support. It's received tens, if not hundreds of billions in military aid. But so far, it's lacked two things it's really wanted. Number one, aircraft, and number two, heavy weaponry, long-range weaponry. Now that has changed. As you said, the Russian reaction has been highly negative. The deputy head of the Russian Foreign Ministry, Sergei Ryabkov, saying that this marks an unprecedented and dangerous change in US policy towards Kiev. It increases direct risk of confrontation with Russia, and it doesn't change the course of the so-called special operation, what Russia calls its actions in Ukraine. Why policy change? Possibly because the ebb and flow of the war has changed in recent weeks. The media narrative has spoken of Russian forces moving through the east, capturing key urban centers, roads, surrounding Ukrainian forces. And that, of course, has Western allies worried because, one, it decreases Kiev's negotiating hand, and two, it will make recapturing lost territory much harder for the Ukrainian army from the Russian forces. It's much easier to defend than to attack or recapture. And it's hoped that these supplies of these medium-range precision-guided missiles will stall that advance and will level the playing field in favor of Kiev's troops.
So tell us a bit more about that. How exactly are these new weapons going to change what's happening on the ground?
Well, we've seen the arrival of US howitzers, US-made howitzers, M77s in Ukraine. They have a range of around 25 miles. This HIMARS system has a range of double that, around 50 miles. It's a missile system which is precision guided and can really inflict some serious damage on Russian troops. They will give the Ukrainian army ability to strike behind Russian forces to target potentially reserve logistics bases. That's something that the Russian army has struggled with, especially in the opening 2 months of the conflict. It could also threaten, of course, Russian supply depots, something Russia needs to carry on its offensive throughout the east and the south of the country. It's really going to slow down the Russian offensive. They're going to have to act more cautiously and perhaps deploy more aircraft to target these systems. The Russians have said from the start of the war that any US, indeed Western weapons that arrive in Ukraine will be fair game, will be a target. They could deploy increased air power to target them. But that, of course, is going to put the Russian army at vulnerability from Western supplied anti-aircraft systems, Javelins, for example. They could lose more aircraft and pilots, something Russia can't afford to do. So clearly this is going to have an impact when those weapons do arrive on the front lines, if the weapons do arrive on the front lines, especially given the key timing of this supplies, given what's going on in the Donbas. The next few weeks will show just what an impact these weapons will have on the Russian offensive and on the Ukrainian counterattack.
Daniel, thank you for that. Daniel Hawkins, they're reporting for us from Moscow.